What you want.
Oh, you're lost.
Look at Daphne. This is hilarious. Alright, so what do we do?
Alright, so just say hi.
Hello, my name is Charlie, and welcome to Explore, Dog Bless You, or some people call it Pearls of the Planet. This is Daphne, my daughter's dog, and this is an experiment. I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello.
You're saying standing ovation.
I'm touched.
So Jenny is wondering, what was the first cam you ever started? And did you realize how many lives you would touch or how many viewers would form bonds with each other?
Hi, Jenny. Great question. The first cam was the polar bear cam that was set up in the Arctic. And no, I had no idea how many lives it would touch or the communities and camaraderie that would develop within these groups, which is truly the highlight of everything.
And from Mosaic World, I imagine you're extremely busy, but do you try to watch the live cams? Do you have any favorites?
You know, people often ask me if I have favorites, and I have to be careful. I think of it as like children's. I say no favorites. I love them all equally. I mean, they're all truly unique. You know, I am wearing a Dog Bless You t-shirt, so I'm a little partial to dogs, I admit it. And sometimes I think of bears as big dogs. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but the way they roll around, scratch behind the ears, feed. So I think I might be a little partial to the bears and dogs. Yeah, I do watch them. I find the cameras just pure escapism, and I love the purity of them, and I turn them on all the time, and it's such a joy to share with people.
And then Doggy Mom is wondering how you came up with the idea for doing the cams in the first place.
Doggy Mom, I like that. I guess I'd be Doggy Dad. So from Doggy Dad to Doggy Mom, I'd always had this fantasy. I have a lot of acronyms, a lot of names. So I call the cams Pearls of the Planet. And it was always been a dream to allow people to get up close and personal with nature in a really pure way. You know, so often with film, things are kind of manipulated through editing and different things. And this is just a way to really connect with the natural world and develop relationships. So it's been a lifelong dream, and technology's finally allowed it. I mean, the fact that I'm even talking to you on a cam is neat, because I'm not really technically too savvy, I have to admit. So I just know how to use it.
River Rock wanted to let you know that she has the same t-shirt on, sort of, because she won a prize.
Yes, I wish I could get Dog Bless You gear to everyone. River Rock, I don't know if you feel the same, but when you wear this shirt, it's special, and people often, you know, comment on it. I've never really figured out, you know, how to, I don't like even to use the word merchandise because we're completely philanthropic, but how to share Dog Bless You gear. So if anyone has ideas, you know, feel free to share them with me, but how to get them to you.
Jen would like to know, are you like all of us in that you find yourself watching the cams when you should be working?
You know, sometimes I wonder if I even work. So I'm not, you know, so to be honest with you, I probably watch them even more. But truly, you know, it's funny. Sometimes people ask me, what's the call to action with the cameras? And I often say to do nothing. And what I mean by that is the cameras are such a great way to escape our stress in daily life and to reconnect with nature and things we love. And I actually find them very healing. And so I think turning them on for a moment, sometimes that moment I know can lead longer, but at least it's a healthy habit. And it's productive, it's positive, and it's nurturing. But I've definitely done some procrastination with the cams, it's true. I'm happy to see I'm not the only one, actually.
Valley Flowers is wondering, of all the places you've traveled, or among all the people you've met, where or with whom would you most enjoy a revisit, and why?
Oh, yes. You know, that kind of goes back to the children comment. I mean, these places have been so unique, and what makes any place unique are the minds that you get to meet. And so I would go back to any of them. You know, the last 5 years, although Explore looks very exotic and international, when the economy started to go on the mend, I really spent the last 6 or 7 years traveling with my golden retriever Lucky all around America. So from the coal mines of West Virginia to Detroit to Mississippi, Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and that was really unique, getting to connect with our own country. And that was a lot of how the Dog Bless You program started, because I realized we all share this love of animals, and we all are somewhat patriotic, so blending the two and helping people. And so I'd go anywhere, you know, I'd go anywhere.
Michael would like to know if you have plans for additional cams, and where's the next install?
Michael, these are great questions, and with people who are online right now, I first would just like to say that really for me, our currency is your comments and feedback. I mean, we really do this for you. So I'd love to hear from people what their ideas are. We have a few cameras right now in the works. I'm a water lover too, so we're playing with a few underwater cameras. We even have one, I hope it works. There's this really unique beach where it's in the Pacific Northwest, where orcas come into a cove, and believe it or not, they like to give themselves back rubs. So they swim into this cove and they rub their back, and we're trying to set that up. We're looking at, I don't know, I love those walrus with the big tusks, so we're working on that. You know, I'm working on a really unique concept right now for pet adoption, and I designed this one center where it's so user-friendly and so loving what you're going to see that I think will help in the adoption world. And so, yeah, we're growing, but I'd love to hear from people what they'd like to see. In fact, sometimes I wonder, has anyone seen the Africa cams? We just installed these cameras in Africa where you can hear the sound live, and it's pretty neat. I've seen elephants, hippos, a cheetah, giraffes. It's pretty exciting.
Someone's wondering how you came to choose the labyrinth as a symbol for Explore.org.
Oh, God. I think I just gave up. You know, the original concept was the O, like in dog, was to be a porthole. And it was always to be changing. And so I think because one of our mantras is never stop learning, and I think everyone on Explore here is kind of a seeker of knowledge and always wanting to challenge and grow. I thought the labyrinth is kind of a metaphor of riddles of life and kind of the journey that we're on. So it was a good base. But originally, every time you went to a different page on Explore, that labyrinth was going to change. So in fact, right now, if anyone looks at China or India films, you'll notice that the O changes. But I was running out of creativity. Like, what should this porthole be? So I surrendered and tried to keep it simple.
Everyone wants you to know they love the African cams.
Oh, good. I'm so touched.
And Love Nature asks, Charlie, what part of the world do you call home? And when did you first know the cams were something you wanted to do?
What part of nature? I think, well, first of all, I really enjoy nature. I think the ocean is my primary place where I'm most comfortable because of the vastness of the sea. And I always like to joke that I'm complemented by mountains. And what I mean by that is, recently I was up in the mountains and I've noticed there's two types of nature lovers. There's people who love mountain life and then visit the sea. So the sea is the complementary force. And then there's some where ocean is the primary and mountains are the secondary. So I really feel connected to, God, this sounds really funny, but mountains and tropics. I love, but I'm a water person through and through. When I'm in water, I'm happiest.
Santa Monica campus.
Yeah. In fact, if anyone ever looks at our Santa Monica camera, that is the view from our office. Hence why I really don't work.
Mosaic World says, it seems like Americans expect media to be entertaining. How do you balance an audience's need for entertainment with an intention to educate?
That's a really excellent question. When I first started Explore, I agree with you. I mean, everyone wants to be entertained. And sometimes I used to say there's an addiction in America that's far worse than drugs and alcohol. I used to call it A to D, addicted to drama. And everyone needs sound bites and everything has to be shaped in a certain way. And so even today, when you're trying to get news or information, it's very tainted. And I think that's one of the unique things about Explore is our purity. For me, that's the most important thing, is that you feel like what you get is real. It's a place of trust. And so that's always been one of our goals. I don't think of ourselves as like it's really for the few. It's not for the masses. And that was a really big decision. And that's why on our site you don't see advertising and things like that, or big corporations, because I think purity is really sacred and hard to find. That's Daphne, like I said, the watchdog, my daughter's dog. Daphne, get over here. Come here. She has some things to say, like, little dogs rule.
Strong Wolverine is wondering, do you have plans for an actual live chat, like on the side of the screen?
This is really an experiment, and it's really exciting. And so if people like it, I would really like to do this. I really, as much as I like the internet, one sec, guys. Come here, baby. Hold on, Sean. As much as I like the internet, I still find it sometimes a little lonely, and I've always enjoyed public speaking, and so I would love to converse more with people. I think it's really fun to share ideas and information, and truly we're all in this together. I mean, Explore is really a collective of ideas, and I actually have a lot of questions that I would like to ask people myself, because I think I can learn a lot from you.
AJ would like to formally invite you to the Great Dane Dog Fest in September at the Service Dog Project. They said they would all love to have you.
You know what? That sounds amazing. I was raised, you guys might like, Scooby-Doo. I love Great Danes, my whole life. So, and I have a Great Dane in the office right now named Lulu, who's looking at me right now. So I hope I can make it. That would be a blast. I saw the funniest Great Dane thing the other day. There was this gigantic Great Dane right outside my office, and this guy was literally walking it it was like in a wheelbarrow with a pre-made bed, and I didn't know the Great Dane was completely healthy too. It was just, I don't know. It was Great Danes. They have a lot of personality. So I hope I can make it. Thank you.
Juergen is from Germany, and he wants to know if the name Weingarten has any German origins.
Yeah, it does. It would be technically, I think, more Prussian, turn of the century. So yes, good question. Wow, all the way from Germany. That's amazing.
He's off. Sequin Pat would like to know, would you ever use drones in addition to static cameras?
Drones?
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about drones, and if we could apply it in a way that I think kept the purity intact and the sanctity of everything, I think it'd be really exciting. Often with these cameras, like with the brown bears, for example, the way I describe them is, when I look at Alaska, I think of one of the world's great natural cathedrals, and that would make the brown bear the high sage. And so I think drones would be really exciting, especially in areas with endangered animals and extinction. On the flip side, the use of drone technology in these live cams sometimes scares me because I think they can be misused for the exploitation of nature. But so there's always a balance, and I hope that Explore and Pearls of the Planet and all that can at least be a safe haven for people. I mean, that's really most important.
Someone wants to know where you are right now because it looks like you're in a lodge or cabin. They say it's very pretty inside.
Yeah, back to, I don't know if I really work. This is my office. I'm in Santa Monica, California. I was really lucky to find this office space. If you go to the Santa Monica live cam, that is the view. What do I do? Hold on. Check this out. Uh-oh, I'm about to knock over my speaker. That's Kovar. That's a dolphin. That's Courtney. And that's,
Is it coming in? See it?
Can you see?
Oh,
I'm
yes,
like asking them.
I can hear
Hey, be careful, buddy. Jeez. Jeez Louise. There's Lulu, the Great Dane. So, yeah, it's a really, I'm really blessed to have a great office space. I know some hotel developers would like to knock it down, but hopefully we'll be able to stay here for a while.
Beagle Mom wants to know how Mike Prickett is doing. She enjoyed his films on Explore.
Beagle Mom. I love beagles. Mike Prickett was just in the office yesterday, and Mike Prickett, for anyone who else is listening to this, is truly one of the great souls of the planet. And, he's really going on a heroic journey, trying to get better every day. For people who don't know who Mike Prickett is, he, besides being one of the most solid, selfless human beings on the planet, he was one of the world's foremost cinematographers of big wave surfing and ocean. About a year and a half ago, he was doing a project in Tahiti. He was scuba diving about 200 feet underwater. Someone was drowning. He saved their life by giving them their oxygen. When he came up, he got the bends and has been paralyzed. And so we started documenting his journey. No one survived from this depth, and to see if he'll ever walk again. And there's some amazing films on Explore about him, and he would love to hear from people. He was just here yesterday, and we should all be like Mike. But it's a tough road. But only someone like Mike could handle it so well.
Rachel would like to know, how do you promote the work that you do on behalf of so many causes and organizations?
Promoting the work's a really balance. I'm really blessed here at Explore to have some very dedicated people who try to get the word out. And so it really begins with the team I'm surrounded by. When I just turned the camera, you saw a few of them. Maybe they'll all one day come on and talk to you guys. So we promote it that way, and really it's pure. I mean, you guys promote it by telling people, and so really when you guys share it or tell your friends, that's really the best way of promotion. We don't advertise. If people want to write editorials or the AP wants to pick us up, it's great. Sometimes, even with the promotion, I've gotten a little frustrated because I've always wondered why some of the bigger news outlets or the TV shows don't especially promote the live cameras, because it's such a wonder in a world where there's so much chaos. This is such a great opportunity to share, and so please help promote it, and you're really our voice.
From Molly's mom, would you ever use a mobile camera on a dog or an animal as an Explore camera?
Again, I would love to hear from people about what they would like. I think we have, with the Great Dane Project, experimented with that, and with GoPro and everything, it's definitely possible. I hope that Explore, I hope we keep it pure and people realize that if we're doing it to kind of connect the soul of these animals or our surroundings with you. and it's not a gimmick. I just hope people realize that. I mean, that's the most important thing. But you know, I'm old school. You know, one thing I would love to talk about with people is the future of the website. We've been working on it a lot. I'm someone like, you know, an old dog who, you know, if you could sign in, I'm happy. So, you know, putting cameras and drones, I just have to go with the times, I guess. We'll see.
Someone says, Charlie, do you know how many major news orgs has streamed Explore.org? I enjoyed watching the ABC digital version on Apple TV.
Oh, you know, it's so nice to hear that people saw that. I've done, it feels like a few interviews now on some news networks. I don't have a count. I know that there's been a lot of articles written about Dog Bless You and the live cams and Explore, and I've done some interviews. And, so I don't have an exact count, though. No. It would be really neat if, I don't know how people feel, but it would be so neat if like one of the pop culture shows like maybe Ellen or The View could, you know, like if something was happening with the brown bears or like a dog's giving birth, say, excuse me, and you know, inform people. But, you know, news is a fickle thing. It's very interesting.
Penny wants to know, have you ever personally visited Brooks Falls and seen the bears there?
Yeah, yes I have. Daphne, I know you wanted to go too, but we were a little scared to take Daphne on that one. I have been to Brooks Falls, and what an amazing pearl of the planet. You know, like I said, it's one of the great natural cathedrals, and these brown bears are just, they're really true sages. Yeah, so I've been there twice. I didn't make it this year, but I have been there twice, and it's great.
Do you plan to write a book about your life and adventures, or at least make a film or movie?
You know, that would be nice. You know, I don't know if anyone would, I don't know what, you know, I don't know what the audience would be for it, but I really have been blessed with some great adventures. I mean, and I met some great minds, and a lot of it's been filmed. Sometimes I feel like this story, Dog Bless You, really that was based with my golden retriever, Lucky. He went from the pound to the White House. So what a story. And it was really the reason for over 200 dogs right now that are paired up with soldiers. And would be a great story. And I don't know, maybe, please, if people are interested in that, I'd love to hear, because maybe. I don't really, you know, that's why it's neat. I don't really know it's interesting enough.
On a related note, Joellen would like to know if you have any plans to make more films in the near future.
Make more films. Yeah, I think at some point, you know, I'd have to ask people. I've often wondered, you know, there are so many great films on Explore, and I've never really known how to share them. In fact, just talking to you makes me realize maybe one way is we do a collective screening with question and answers right afterwards, and I can tell you so many great stories that never make the film, because with the film, you're always trying to make it work from a time standpoint. You know, I often wonder if people enjoy the films, or are they more tuned in to the live cams, the social media, and you know, another thing we have at Explore that I'm not most proud of, but I love so much, is the photography. It's just world class. In fact, one of our photographers is sitting right behind us. His name is Kovar. If you ever go to kovar.net, I don't plug things, but he's been around forever taking great snapshots, and he's just a true talent. Hey, Kovar. He deserves it. That was my first advertisement in the history of Explore. Maybe now I'll put up billboards and say, you know, buy Subway. I don't know.
DJ Bass wants to know if your family or your children share your passion too.
Well, my brother and sister are truly some of the most unique minds I've ever come across, and we're all really different. Lauren, in particular, if anyone has any time, Google this phrase, the metabolic studio. I don't know, DJ, if you've ever been around people that are so smart that you have no idea what they're talking about, so you just nod. That's like my sister. I don't know what she's doing, but it's brilliant. But all our passions are a little bit different, but complementary. My daughter is at an age where you know, I don't know if she appreciates it or not. Maybe one day. I think I embarrass her, quite frankly. So if she was here right now, she'd be like, "Oh my God, what's he doing now?" So I don't know about her.
Someone wants to know if you'd consider having an Explore Film Festival.
Would that be open to other people's Explore films, or would you like to see Explore films that have been made? I, I, I used to think it'd be really neat to do some Explore showcases and Q&As, and we've tried a few. Like we did one in Vancouver, and I think once up in Northern California. So, that's what's kind of interesting about experimenting online right now, because it makes me realize, never stop learning. I never thought about this, that we could even do things online and talk, or I'd consider it. Where should I do it, out of curiosity, is what I'm saying. Like, where would be the place? Would people even come? I don't know.
Victoria wants to know, is there anything you'd like to ask us, the viewing community?
Well, that's a great question, Victoria. I'd love to hold my dream. This is a whole different topic and a can of worms. But like I said, we're always working on trying to improve the viewer experience for you. I mean, again, I'm really just a steward of you. I mean, my goal is to try to enrich both my life and all of our lives. And I would love to have people's comments, especially like in the web, of like things they would like to see. Because right now we're working on some new designs, and a fantasy of mine would be able to share it with volunteers and let them tinker with it and really tell us if they think it's better and if it's improving them. Other questions I have naturally is just, I'd love to learn about all of you, frankly. I mean, where are you from? How did you find out about Explore? What's your favorite cam? What would you like to see? So I think this could be a neat relationship if this works, because I'm learning as I'm speaking right now, and hopefully you are too.
Has Explore exceeded your original concept of what you wanted it to be?
I was cleaning out my closet the other day, and I found reams and reams of notebooks of what Explore was supposed to be. And especially when it came to the web and different things. And then I said, I'm just happy people can sign in and enjoy. And so it's really neat. I remember when we first started, my goal was like to try to get 1,000 visitors to Explore in like a month. And, that happens, we're way past that goal. But the problem with goals, and I don't know if anyone can relate to this, is it's kind of like chasing your shadow. It's like never enough, so you hit a benchmark and then you're like, oh, we got to get further. And so, I'm just really proud to be talking to everyone right now and in learning. I think sometimes, so on a personal note, goals have been met, and sometimes I wish more people knew about the live cams and that there's good people doing good work. Even right now, there's situations in the world, places where we've been, and I've met so many great minds, and I wish I could showcase them a little bit more effectively. But overall, I'm just so touched to even be doing this live broadcast.
This one's interesting from Nature Girl. There have been many incidences when watchers have gotten upset seeing the reality of nature. Have you thought about putting up disclaimers on the cam stating that watchers might see things that could be upsetting?
No. I mean, I haven't, but I know what you're saying, because, for example, when I was out watching the brown bears, I get so terrified when they fight, because the last thing I want to see is one of them get hurt, or when, the birds are being, hatched and one falls out of a nest, or, and might die, or if a puppy dies. And it's, nature isn't like a nature video. It's very not forgiving. It's real. And so the disclaimer idea is, that's an interesting note, Nature Girl. I'm going to have to think about that. That's an interesting note. I mean, it doesn't happen more or less, but I share it because I always like I just want everyone to be happy in nature. It's like it's so sad when things go wrong, and nature's it's a tough place. It could be unforgiving, like I said. So the disclaimer note's interesting. I think a warning of like that, it's not always peaches and cream out there is not a bad idea.
Trisha says, what is your most viewed cam?
What is my most viewed cam? I don't know. I think the brown bear would probably be the most viewed cam, and I've noticed that there are a lot of bird watchers out there who enjoy the osprey, the puffin. A great bird that I don't know if it's been getting that much attention is we have I think it's a snowy owl up in Burroughs, Alaska, which I recommend highly. And then the dog community is, and the cat community. I get sometimes a hard time because I mentioned dog and not cat, bless you. But they're just like cement pillars in my life. I mean, let's be real. So the other ones are seasonal, but the dog bless you community. I mean, I could build a house on your foundation. I mean, your support is so loyal and enriches my life in a way. It's great.
Someone says, can you tell us more about the cam ops? Like, where do they come from? Can anyone be a cam op? How does that work?
That's an interesting question. The camera operation is always an enigma and a challenge here at Explore. There are a lot of cam operators, and it can be done. I mean, you just require some training, and it's done technically over the computers, and so you have the ability to zoom in and zoom out and do that. A volunteer network is something we're looking into, and I don't want to overwhelm my staff, but if it's something you're interested in, send us some information on the feedback button, and I don't know if we can get back overnight, but I think it'd be neat. Some of my fantasies back to cam ops, and I haven't figured this out, is that so many times there's so many incredible things. That's Daphne, my alert. Come on, baby. Am I the only one who notices that little dogs are much more vocal than big dogs? Okay, like this little one is the greatest watchdog. But sometimes where I get frustrated, for example, is you see something amazing unfolding in nature, and how do you reach out to your network of friends and say, you have to get on right now? Something's happening at Brooks Falls, or birds are hatching, or there's just something so incredible. And so one of the things I ask you when things like that happen is to be our lookout, our sentry, and please share it with your friends, because it happens in that moment, and there's nothing like seeing it live.
From Jen, any plans for an American bald eagle cam?
Oh yeah, and we have this talk all the time, and there's nothing like the bald eagle. And I know that we've talked to a few groups that already have bald eagle cams, and then so the question becomes, do we do one ourselves, or do we partner with some existing cams? And I guess that would be a question I have for the audience. It's like the way I see doing things for an expandability thing is I think it'd be really neat to kind of do signature projects here at Explore, and then to allow other people who have existing cameras to be able to attach onto our community. So we have this beautiful community of cams, and I don't know how people feel about that, but I've been definitely, bald eagle speaks for itself. I mean, it's one of the most majestic, it is the most majestic for me of the birds. I hope I don't get in trouble saying that, but I love bald eagles. So I share your feelings.
Some of the cam ops are watching, and they want to say thank you, and that they're happy to be able to give what they can to others by working these cameras.
Well, I really appreciate your selfless work, and I hope you're enjoying it. And to the cam operators, it's a tremendous responsibility, because there's so many people watching and relying on you, and so thank you. We're all a team and in this together.
From Don Romero, a grade 3 teacher, have you thought about having more cam experts having live chats with classrooms?
That has always been a fantasy of mine. I used to go into classrooms quite a bit myself. They used to call me Professor Charlie. In fact, if you go on to explore, there are several films. One in China, An Wu, and then you'll see it in Mississippi and also in West Virginia, where I'd go in and they all call me Professor Charlie, and trying to figure out ways to bring this content into classrooms is one of my great challenges. We're a really small staff, so there's only so much you can do, and there's nothing more rewarding than when teachers, like send us a photo. And so any suggestions, and if it's something you're personally interested in, and I think connect classrooms with live talks, because ultimately, what could be more rewarding than that?
How do you find out more volunteer opportunities for Explore?
This is a great question. It sounds like one of the first things that I'm kind of hearing from people is they'd really like a volunteer page, and where people could apply for things that they might like doing. I'm kind of hearing that. Right now, I always say I think the best way is through the feedback, but I could see how that could get kind of lost in the shuffle. And again, I really emphasize, and first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their patience with us at Explore. We really are a small team, and so we can only do so much. And how to incorporate your feedback and desires is ultimately our goal. There's only so much we can do. So right now, through the feedback button would be the best thing, but what I'm kind of hearing for the future is a form for potential volunteers and different things people would like to do.
From Grandma Jay, on the discussion of doggy t-shirts, would you consider distributing them to animal shelters and rescue groups that could sell them for the proceeds for their group?
Hey, I just made this first. Would anyone buy this? Look at this. This Dog Bless You bowl. Isn't that cute? I make all this stuff, for my, I'm kind of a junkie to make stuff. I would, that's a really interesting idea. I've often wondered, sometimes I get concerned. I could set up some ways to sell like Dog Bless You product, and we can figure out ways to raise money for proceeds. I just have never wanted the audience to feel that I'm trying to take advantage of them. So I've never really set up any forms of commerce. Clothing can be difficult because sometimes it doesn't, fit, and then they want it returned, different things. But that's why I like a lot of our contests. We do the mugs in the bowls, but in fact, to show you how much I merchandise, I just made this mouse too for my computer. Dog bless you. So I would really like to figure that out. I haven't done it right now. Right now, what I do is I go onto this site named Zazzle, and I just kind of make it. Maybe I should just open a store. Would people like Dog Bless You product?
Nanny Cat is saying she would buy one for her dog.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, maybe we'll experiment with it. Coming up. So I'm hearing forms and maybe the product.
Charlie, where do you go to get away from it all and relax?
I like to. Well, here locally in Los Angeles, I try to get into the water. I love to go into the ocean or go on a hike. I really enjoy kind of connecting with nature. I had a golden retriever named Lucky, and we used to go on a lot of walks. He passed recently, so my walking routine is diminished a little bit. But so now I've been bike riding a little bit more too. So I like to just get outdoors and try to be active.
Everyone's saying they want a Dog Bless You store.
Me too. Dog Bless You kind of reminds me of a brand called Life is Good. I really just feel like it's a phrase you can put on anything and it'll enrich our lives. It's a very meaningful brand to me. I love it.
David says, Charlie, thank you so much for your work with Dog Bless You and all the efforts to provide dogs to PTSD veterans. Wouldn't it be great if every vet in need would be able to connect with a dog in need of a home?
Yeah, I mean, when like someone asked me earlier, David, about films and different things, and one of the films that always, or even like TV series or anything that just amazes me is to think that right now there might be 100. I've lost count. I don't have titles at Explore. So Courtney here, who the executive brain trust of Dog Bless You, we often challenge each other about how many dogs are out there. But the idea that like while we're speaking right now, there's probably 100, 150, 200 dogs that are like just adding so much value to someone's life. I mean, talk about a great way to see America, a great way to really learn about the power of animals as healing, and really a national issue, which is still that Congress and government doesn't really acknowledge the role that animals play in terms of healing. I mean, I can personally share you some amazing stories that my Golden had with soldiers. So, yeah, that would be amazing. And, hopefully that's always been a dream of mine with Dog Bless You, is when you see a service dog, you're like, that's a Dog Bless You dog. And it's just a symbol. If it's with soldiers or search and rescue and different things.
So California wants to know if you've seen the amazing work of the Rangers this year and wants to thank you for being able to witness that live on camp.
Yeah. Oh God. These I have, and I thank them. We live in a world today where it really takes a lot of courage to be so selfless and to give up so many of the luxuries and to say, I want to be involved in the nonprofit world. And that's why really the mission statement of Explore is to champion the selfless acts of others. And so these Rangers are just another example of people that just really do so much and get so little acknowledgement. And so I can, to me, they're the real heroes.
Is there a place in the world you haven't been yet but would like to go?
Yeah, there are a few, definitely. There are definitely a few places. They're all so special. But I've on the most exotic, if I was going to do like a really exotic explore trip, like old school filmmaking, I don't know why this place always appeals to me, but I'd love to go to Mongolia. And then go through Siberia, and then through Europe. I think that would be, I don't know why. I don't know, fantasy and reality are always so different. Locally, I've always had a fantasy of driving around Ireland. I've never been there, but it just seems amazing. I haven't been to New Zealand. I'd like to go to Japan. So, yeah, no, there are definitely places. I would love to do a road trip from Banff to Jasper. I hear that's just gorgeous.
Donna says, how many animals do you own?
Well, I have technically, let me see. I have 2 goldfish, which I somehow still live, and I have basically 3 dogs. And then my office is surrounded with dogs. Because dogs are all welcome here. It's very funny. I have a cat, but cats are so much different. It's not really my cat. I think it's my neighbor's cat, but it always just jumps over into my house. And the other day, this was the craziest story. It was late at night. I go into my closet, and it's dark, and I put my hand to get my pajamas, and this cat is sleeping in my closet, like 4 feet up. And I was so scary. I turn on the light, and I'm not going to move. And so all animals are welcome. In fact, in my house, I leave a lot of the doors open, and sometimes it's funny because there'll be like birds flying through. I feel like Ace Ventura a little bit.
A lot of thank yous coming in, Charlie. And someone says, hope you know how many lives you have touched, both 2-legged and 4. 4.
I, 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 sometimes in life you lose perspective, and really hearing that is really beautiful, and I'm grateful. Like I said, truly our currency is your feedback. So, we do it for you, and that's great. I mean, I'm just so happy that people are enjoying it.
Carly, do you want to wrap up or take more questions?
If anyone has a few more, or if not, I can wrap up. And would people like to do this again on different topics? Would someone like to do? I'd love to get some reviews on potential internet sites. I mean, if this is successful, we could try this again. Or, like I said, any feedback is welcome. If there's a few more questions, I'll take them, and if not, I'll let people get back to work.
Beagle Mom wants to know how much time you spend watching the cameras.
God, I just keep my computer on. Honestly, today between the iPhone, the iPad, your computer, I just have it on. It's pretty much, or I have one of those smart TVs, so I have it on that. So I definitely, I probably manipulate our stats. And it says average time on site. It's probably because of me, because I have it on all the time. So at least an hour a day.
Karen wants to know, what do you think of all of us who are addicted to your cams?
I feel great to know I'm not alone. Safety in numbers. It's, seriously, could we have worse addictions? I mean, what a great addiction to have, that you're trying to voyeur and connect with the natural world. I mean, so I think we should be proud of this addiction. It could be, my God, it could be a lot worse. But at least we know we're not alone.
What was it like to hold a panda?
That was so cool. Oh my God. Holding a panda. It was really neat, except it had big claws, I remember. You're like, huh. Back to the nature video disclaimer, but it was really sacred. That was a really neat experience. Pandas are just, again, such symbols, and they were so cute, and it was just so unexpected. Makes me want to hold one again. Although don't be holding a brown bear. I don't want to, disclaimer, don't do this at home.
Lots of people saying they'd love to see another chat, and maybe you could wrap up with this question. Growing up as a child, what is your favorite memory about nature?
Favorite memory of nature. It's a really good one. Growing up as a child. For me, it was, I always thought the most exciting thing with nature, living here in Southern California, was just taking walks on the beach and occasionally getting to see dolphins, or, that's Lulu, everyone, in case it's a great day. If you wanted to say hello, come in. And occasionally seeing, a whale or like a seal pop out of the water. I was just, just always really loved sunsets and in that. So I'd definitely have to say that would be my number one. And my worst would be how much the mosquitoes love me. Oh my God, come summers. That was my other connection. I just remember going to camp and getting destroyed always by mosquitoes. But yeah, lots of good memories, and hopefully we can begin this relationship. And like I said, I'll let people go back to their lives. Thank you so much, and please realize that your feedback truly is our currency, and I'd love to know what people want, and if people want it, we can do it again, and if you want to talk to other people, we can set that up also.
So people wonder if they can see Lulu before you go.
All right. I think the best way to get Lulu to perform is if I brought food.
Oh, yes.
And Courtney would have to come.
Come here. Come say hi. Come say hello.
Hi.
Lulu.
Look at that.
Lulu. Look over here. There you go.
What a beauty. Lulu is like having your own miniature horse in the office. She is just the most special dog. Finicky. These Great Danes. I remember, that'll be a whole nother story, but Lulu has definitely become a mascot here at Explore, and she loves food. In fact, that she's even performing like this without me holding some chickens, a miracle. But yes. Well, should we? Well, remember, never stop learning. Welcome to Explore, and Let's keep this going. Have a great day, a great rest of August, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.